Do you like going to sporting events, concert, Broadway plays, comedy shows, or music festivals? If so, you may need tickets. If you do, head on over to SeatGeek. SeatGeek has reasonable and affordable prices for all kinds of budgets, especially when you use code HTS for $20 off your first purchase. You can filter seats by price, best seats, and deal score. If you don't know what deal score is, deal score takes the true value of the seat against the price of the seat to give a 0 out of 10 rating, with 10 being the best. In order to get you the best deal possible, SeatGeek gives you that feedback. Once again, use code HTS for $20 off your very first purchase. Go out and have a fun time with some friends, family, significant other, whoever. Just go out, have a great time, support the pod.
Hey everyone, this is Clayton Scalina of the Hot Take Sports Podcast, and I'd just like to give a quick shout out to one of our partners here on the podcast, Drew Seifert of Drew Seifert Racing. Drew races a 305 sprint car here in Northwest Ohio. He competes at Attica Raceway Park in Attica, Ohio on Friday nights and at Fremont Speedway in Fremont, Ohio on Saturday nights. If you're in the area and make it out to the races, make sure to look out for the red, white, and black 13S race car and the HTS logo on it. We're very excited to partner with Drew and wish him the best of luck the rest of this racing season. Once again, make sure to look out for car number 13S, and without further ado, let's dive into the episode.
All right. Welcome back to the Hot Take Sports Podcast, episode 53, and we are joined by another special guest, Brandon Hawkins of the Toledo Walleye. Brandon, how's everything going in the offseason?
Oh, it's great, guys. I don't know if you want to count it as much of an off-season as I'm playing in 3 ice and still skating 4 or 5 times a week, so hopefully just makes coming back next year that much easier.
There you go. Good to stay in shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does the 3-on-3 league work? Is there like a draft, and what kind of guys would play in this league?
So they did a draft originally, but then Canadian players couldn't get their visas. So I was originally on the alternate list, and then I got picked up by John LeClaire on reference from TJ Hensick, as you guys could probably make sense of that. But they did a draft, and then it goes into you play 8 weekends, and then the top 4 teams make it into the final. And the final is if you win it all, it's $128,000 per player.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and in terms of type of player that you'd see playing, it's more of a very offensive type, like myself and Henny, or if you throw Josh Dickinson or a different player like that from the Walleye, it would make a lot of sense for them to play too, just because it's so offensive and so creative.
How many guys are on a team for this?
It's six guys and a goalie.
The pace of that has to be kind of incredible, right?
Yeah, you're tired after the first game, that's for sure.
All right. Well, we got a loose set of questions, and we'll just start firing them off at you. Sound good?
Perfect.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start with where were you raised and kind of what's your hockey background? How did you originally get involved with the sport?
Okay, so I'm originally from Macomb, Michigan. It's a little town about 40 minutes north of Detroit. If you take 94, you basically run right through it and you wouldn't notice. So growing up in Macomb, my dad ran a roller hockey rink by the name of Joe Dumar's Fieldhouse. So I grew up playing roller hockey before I played ice hockey. And that was all because my dad was a world-class speed skater on quads or roller skates. Then he made the transition to ice and everything like that. And injury kind of pushed him to go play roller hockey. And that's kind of where I was raised, was at the roller hockey rink. So all in all my creativeness, all my offensiveness all comes from roller hockey. My parents used to say they'd bring me to the rink and I was too little to open the door. So they just shut the doors, put me in the rink, and that was my babysitter for hours on end. Guess it worked out in my favor.
Yeah, I'd say so. So growing up, what kind of youth leagues did you play in?
So unpopular to opinion, I didn't play much AAA hockey my entire childhood. AAA is like the best of the best, as you guys probably know. But I played single A and double A hockey basically all the way until I was 17. Then I played 1 year of AAA for midget major, and went and played in the North American Hockey League for Texas Tornado, and then was drafted in the USHL after that, the Sioux City Musketeers. So I try to tell everybody your hockey path isn't linear, right? Your path is going to be different than my path. It's going to be different than Dylan Larkin. It's going to be different than Dan DeKaiser. It's just it's no person's the exact same. It's a matter of time and place, and hopefully you're at the right time and place to move forward to the next level.
Fair enough. So I guess we kind of assumed that you wanted to pursue your hockey career because that's what you grew up with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And I kind of made a deal with my parents. Like, there was a good time in my life where I wanted to play in the OHL, and I had the opportunity to try out for the Plymouth Whalers a long time ago, and it might not have worked out, but my parents both made me promise that no matter what happened with my career, that I would get my college degree. So in the end, I got my degree and just kept playing, and I wouldn't want to stop playing because I still love it more than anything.
When you were playing growing up, did you ever kind of get a feeling that you could take it to the next level?
Honestly, it clicked my U16 year. I played for a team called the Summit Plastics. It was a AA team. Me and Cam Johnson, the goalie from the Florida Everblades, were on the same team together and won a national championship. That year, I had 176 points in 77 games.
Wow.
And got an OHL tryout out of midget single A hockey. So that was kind of when it clicked, like, oh, maybe you can go play somewhere.
Wow, that just kind of blows my 176 points in 77 games.
Yep, it was a lot of fun.
That is crazy. That's so cool. Let's just mopping the floor with everybody.
Yeah, we had I think we may have lost 5 times that year.
Yeah.
You arguably have the best. Well, Cam went to play at North Dakota. I played at 2 schools, being Bowling Green and Northeastern. So it was like, we're the last 2 guys from that team that are still playing.
Nobody else is like in the ECHL or bouncing around in Europe anywhere or anything like that?
Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you kind of talked about your junior hockey a little bit. How does that process work? We're kind of unfamiliar with like how you get connected with that and like how the draft structure works. So what was that process?
So it's basic. In my terms, it's a crapshoot. You never know who could go or where you could go. In my eyes, I never got drafted into the North American League. I signed a tender to the Texas Tornado, and that's kind of how I got my junior start. A tender is basically they reserve you for the following season as you're a young enough player to reserve, if that makes sense. It's almost like so the USHL does it where if you tender a player, you then have to play that player 40 games as like a developmental thing.
Okay.
So, but other than that, there's 2 phases of the draft for the USHL. There's phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is like the rookie draft for the really young kids, where you can basically tender kids out of that. And then the phase 2 draft is the older kids that are basically going to come in and play right away.
Okay. Which
so
phase
that
are you drafted in?
The structure is a bit weird because you can literally be drafted from anywhere. Doesn't matter if you play AA, AAA, high school. It doesn't matter. If you're a good enough player, you can be drafted.
Okay.
I hope that makes a little more sense because it's junior hockey to everyone is it's a little odd, just because like everybody's like, well, what do you mean you leave high school and you go play hockey for 2 years and you don't do anything and then you go to college? So the best way of explaining it, are you guys familiar with baseball at all?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like JUCO.
Oh, okay.
Junior hockey is basically JUCO.
That makes sense.
Like a purgatory before you play Division 1 or what school you want to go to.
That makes sense. So you said you played in Sioux City. What was that overall experience like? Is that kind of like, does it do a good job of simulating college hockey?
I would say both. If you play in both leagues, I think you have a better chance of understanding college hockey because the North American League is more of a grindy type of hard-nosed hockey. And then the USHL is a very high-skilled, high-paced hockey, but can also be quite defensive at the same time. So it's like if you get both of those, which I feel like it's actually quite beneficial to play in both leagues, because then you understand how to play both styles. It'll translate pretty well to college because you see there's actually a good amount of North American leaguers that come out of the NOL and play better than guys that played in USHL because they understand how to basically come out and play just a gritty balls to the wall type of hockey right away. In Sioux City, like Sioux City was, luckily we had a coach. So you guys saw Detroit just hired Jay Verde as the assistant.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was my coach in Sioux City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he understands how to run a pro team. He doesn't coach one style. He takes each individual player and understands that that person needs a different communication type for them to succeed with your team. That's why he's so good, and that's why he's gone on to so many different levels, and that's why he's now in the NHL.
As our resident Red Wings fan, I think that the Red Wings absolutely could use something like that right now.
Yeah.
I think that switch was necessary.
Well, 100%. And then you get Newsy, which is the head coach, Lalonde. He coached in Toledo, and all the Toledo guys said the same thing. He's a very personal person. He's a great human being, and he doesn't just coach one style to one team ratio. It's one style per person. So no matter what your style is, if you need to be communicated with every day on a daily basis, hey coach, what's going on? How's your day? That's how he's going to treat you. But then say another guy needs someone to be hard on him at all times. He can go do that with that person. It's always different. So he's always able to mold a team based off of individuals to create a team experience.
Yeah. And figuring out which guys to talk to in which way is a huge skill to have. That's a big one.
100%. And that's why Verde was so successful for so long is he would actually just call guys in the office and just talk. Just basically, how's your day? How's your family? What's going on at home? Like, that's just the type of person he is. He wants to know. He cares. He wants to treat everyone like their family. And that's exactly how Watson is in Toledo as well.
Yeah, from our limited sports experience, I mean, they're pretty much high school, but those relationships with coaches, I mean, that's how you build trust back and forth. So
100%. And in all honesty, your best players end up playing the best when they're communicated with the right way.
Who would you say on the Walleye kind of leads the on-ice communication?
Probably Henny.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually the older guys. And not many people talk about him, but John Albert as well. Because, like, if you look, Johnny had pretty close to 30 goals, but John and Henny both have been playing for over 10 years pro, and they both communicate extremely well on and off the ice. And Henny's more of a lead by example type of guy, but if either him or John get up in the room and say something, everybody's listening. So it's like follow their lead. But if they say something, you got to listen.
Sometimes the glue guy effect, pretty much.
100%.
All right. Well, we've covered junior hockey, so we'll kind of transition into your college hockey experience a little bit.
Yep.
I'm a BG student right now.
Okay.
Go to Bowling Green. So what was that recruiting process like when you were?
I didn't. So I got. I actually committed out of North American League. I didn't commit out of the USHL. So my first year in Texas, I ended up, I think I had 35 goals. I led the league in goals as a rookie, and I committed right after Christmas time. So I won Rookie of the Year, committed to Bowling Green, and basically went in and met them with my parents and kind of loved the situation as it's close to home for me, like Toledo is. My parents and everyone can come watch a game whenever they want, and I can go home at any point to see them and to see everyone if you're homesick. It was honestly the perfect situation. I love that city more than anything. But then, so 2 years after, and it is what it is. I wouldn't even say I'm mad or disappointed at this point. Like, I miss everybody and everything at Bowling Green. I just ended up going to Northeastern University, and I had to sit a year for transferring. That stinks. But when you go from Bowling Green, who is a very, very high, like, grit level team. So, like, you're balls to the wall, you're in on them. You're going to wear a team out, and you're going to beat them with that. And then you have your top two lines are usually extremely skilled. So you wear them out, and then your top two lines take over, and hopefully you win games. And then transferring over to going to Northeastern, it was a little different because Northeastern I'm playing with guys that are first and second round draft picks. So there's a little more of a transition in terms of gameplay from college to pro, that I was a little more ready for pro because I was dealing with those type of players on a daily basis.
What kind of guys did you play with at Northeastern? Like,
So
everybody's super special.
yeah, I played with a Hobie Baker winner, Adam Gaudette. He's now, I believe he signed with Toronto. He won the Hobie Baker, scored I think close to 30 goals that year in college. Dylan Secura played with me. He's been in Colorado for a while. Zach Aston Reese, he was a runner-up for the Hobie Baker. Caden Primo, the goalie, was my roommate. He won the Mike Richter Award, which is the best goalie in college hockey. Played Jordan Harris, who just signed with Montreal. Skated and trained with them all summer. Played with them at Northeastern. Like, it's just like that's the type of players that are in Hockey East, and it's not to say that it's a better league. It's and even a better style. It's just a different style that fit me as a player. Because Bowling Green, like I'd say I thrived in that style as well. It was like I kind of got the best of both worlds. Like, again, with the North American League USHL thing, I was just as ready for pro because I understood the gritty and the skilled at the same time.
So you said you had to get your college degree. What did you end up going for?
So my degree is media and communication, basically what you guys are doing right now. Yeah. Yeah. I've never had a problem talking to people, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me that even after hockey was done, if I went into some sort of media and communication role, like Matty Melzak, he's one of the best people in the world. So it's like I'd want to do like something along those lines, or go into coaching because I can communicate with people so well that I'd be able to do somewhat of the same thing with Verde and Lalonde and those guys, because I've seen it happen, and I'm a visual learner. So the more I see it, the more I'm able to do it. So it's like if I'm treated that well for that amount of time, I have no issue going to do the exact same thing for somebody I was to coach.
What made you want to transfer to Northeastern? Was it just playing time, or just wanted to try a different level?
It honestly, it was I'm going to try to word this correctly. Okay. It was a disagreement and something I probably left too early instead of fighting it out and dealing with myself. And you know what, it happens, but and I regret a little bit of it, and regret stinks. And I hope that you guys never have to deal with anything like that. But I loved my experience in Northeastern. I love my experience at Bowling Green. There's days I wished I would have fought it out and pushed and put myself in a better position at Bowling Green, so I would have never had to go through that. But again, there's the regret in my career. So I gotta live and let live, and I take advantage of what I got from Northeastern in terms of the coach there still messages me all the time asking how's hockey going, and the relationships I built there are tremendous. So it's I got the best of both worlds, and I still love both places. It's just stinks that it happened that way.
Talking about going to BG and then going from BG to Northeastern. How did Wilkes-Barre and Scranton approach you coming out of Northeastern?
So out of school, so luckily I was we played Hockey East finals, which we played BU. We won an double overtime. I had an assist in that game in the overtime goal. And then the following night we played Boston College, and I had 2 goals and assist. Both nights, the Pittsburgh Penguins were in the building, scouting. So, and with Wilkes-Barre being their affiliate, so it was really nice. And someone I looked up to career-wise was Scott Young. He's a goal scorer in the 90s or 2000s. So he was a tremendous hockey player. And he was the one that kind of approached my agent, and we went through that whole thing together. But it was cool to be recruited by them, and especially him, because I looked up to him. So it was awful neat to get to meet him and go through that experience together. But no, it was definitely cool. Something else is, in the end, with us beating Boston College in Hockey's final, that was the only way for Bowling Green to get into the NCAA tournament.
Oh, okay.
So we beat Boston College 3-2 in the final. I had 2 goals and an assist. Bowling Green got in because we beat Boston College. My final. I guess hopefully that made up for a little bit of me leaving. But
Well, shout out to you guys, I guess, because I remember that season. That was,
Yep.
I think the season before that was when I really started going to games, and that
Yep.
was fun.
Yep.
So,
have you made friends with Andy Gibson yet?
no, I have not, but I know who he is.
Okay, next time you see him, tell him Hawk says hello, and he'll take care of you for life.
I will let him know.
He is one of my favorite people, and we did. I went down there and saw him a couple times. I just went down there, had lunch with him during the season to see him because I still friends with everyone down there. Even Scooter went and drove and had coffee with Scooter, the equipment guy, a few times too.
Everybody loves Scooter.
Oh, you can't. How can you not love Scooter?
Well, Clayton actually does like an internship with the athletic department, so he's been down on the ice doing stuff. So
Okay,
he's
that's
with
awesome.
them, so.
That is awesome. It's a special place, man. There's nothing like the Madhouse on Mercer.
Agreed.
There's just when it's loud, it's louder than anything. And especially so we set the record for people in the building my freshman year against it was either Miami of Ohio or Ohio State at 5,353. And when you have that many people in that little building with that small ceiling, it is as loud as an NHL rink.
Would you say that it's, you said like as loud as an NHL arena. Have you played, would you say that it's louder than the Huntington Center?
No.
All right.
Those fans are nuts.
Yeah.
And I like Walleye Nation is a different animal. But I would put the bleacher creatures and the Walleye faithful in the same boat as in terms of how passionate they are about their team.
It's always a cool environment to play in, to have those kind of the fan support like that.
Oh, 100%. Like I got to play. You guys know what the Bean Pot is?
I have not heard of the Bean Pot. No.
Okay, so in Michigan we have the GLI. In Boston you have the Bean Pot, but the Bean Pot's been going on since like the 60s. And it's Boston College, Boston University, Northeastern, and Harvard, the 4 teams that are within a 3-mile radius. And you play it's a Monday tournament at TD Garden, the Bruins Arena. So you play the first Monday as a semifinal, and the second Monday is a consolation, and then the final. The 2 years I got to play in it, we won it. And both years, the final game had 22,000 people in the building.
Wow.
So, and our little team bar that was on campus was about as big as Shots. I'm sure you guys have been there. And there was a line, like imagine if you took a line, wrapped it outside of Shots, outside of the gas station, outside of Jimmy John's and Pizza Hut or whatever, Domino's on the corner, and then came back. That's how long the line was to get into our team bar after we won the Bean Pot for the first time in 30 years.
Wow. So
So that was nuts to be a part of.
yeah. Do you think that fans are more passionate in college hockey or in professional hockey?
I just think you have more drunk college kids.
All right, yeah. All right, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's kind of the way I look at like, so Toledo has had nuts fans since the Storm days when in the old Toledo Sports Arena. And the Sports Arena was probably bar none one of the best like meccas of sports in all time, because when teams came in there, they almost knew that they had to fight the team and the fans. So like, that's kind of the cool thing. But like when you get to college, you can get 5,000 people in now Slater Arena. Thank you, Mr. Slater, for everything he does for that program. But if you put 5,000 drunk college kids in that building, it's going to be absolutely wild. But even like the people that live in the Bowling Green area that come to those games are just as passionate about the team as the kids are. So that's what makes it special. That's what makes that area of Ohio special.
Yeah.
Tractor pulls.
Yeah.
All right, now hold on. Now, what's your favorite bar at BG?
My mom listened to this podcast.
Good. Yes. Yes. Did your mom go to BG?
She did. My mom
So
went to BG, my dad went to UT.
So I'll tell you for free that your mom wants you to say Broadhouse.
I'll talk to her. I'll call her tonight and tell her that you told me to say that.
Everyone that I know that went to Bowling Green and like I'm guessing your mom went in probably early 2000s.
Like the
That'd
mid,
be my guess.
yeah,
Mid 90s early. Yep. So everybody talks about Broadhouse and how Broadhouse was the only place to go. And still, like when I come back, that's the only place Andy and I will go, other than shots. But that's just because he's got to run shots for a majority of the night.
Right. My mom, my uncle, when she was there, would go up there and visit her. And she went with her friend, my uncle, and one of my uncle's friends.
Yeah.
My uncle, like, I don't know exactly what happened, but my mom said she turned around and saw his buddy grab him and drag him out the front door. Apparently, like, somebody said something either to him or to my mom, and he had a guy by his shirt, was like winding back to punch him in the face, and his buddy just grabbed him and pulled him out the front door.
That's unbelievable. You could see that once or twice a weekend in BG.
Yeah.
And the Toledo people, though. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
See, he knows. I don't recognize that.
And if it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen at Chevy's. But luckily, all the bouncers at Chevy's are probably the best people in the world. So it's like nothing really happens because nobody wants to be in a place where they have to deal with them because they're not small people.
No, they're like football linemen.
Yeah.
And my dad is a student lawyer at VG, so I've heard some pretty good stories. He's been there since the mid-90s, so
yep, I
he's
can
got
only
a
imagine.
couple good stories here and there.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
But since we to kind of get back on track a little bit, changing gears, how did you end up getting connected with the Walleye?
So I've had tons of friends play for the Walleye in terms of Jeff Lerg and Greg Wolf, Shane Birschbach, Stephen Alexi, the first year that they played, Nightingale, those type of guys. So it's like I've always heard tremendous things about Fish Nation, but Tyler Spezia called me after. So Tyler's probably been one of my best friends since we were 4 years old. We played together all the way through, committed to Bowling Green together, did everything you can think of together. And when my contract ended with Wilkes-Barre, he calls and goes, "Man, come here. You'll get treated better than any American League team that you ever played for." And he's not wrong. So he got me involved, and I signed right away. And then COVID hit, and I had to go play for Fort Wayne. And I know just about every Walleye fan is upset with that, but it happens. And now I finally got my chance to do it last year, and it was awesome. Other than my injury, but that happens.
What kinds of things made the Walleye different from other clubs that you've played for?
You're treated like an NHL organization. Like, so I've played for organizations that are great people. I've played for organizations where you're treated well, but the communication isn't there. In my eyes, when you go to Fort Wayne, there's awesome people. Ben Boudreau and Olivier Legault are two tremendous human beings and great coaches, right? They're awesome. The Skylar Garver and Brendan Fitzgerald are unbelievable equipment guys. And there's really nothing bad about playing there. It's just when I originally signed with Toledo, I did it because I'm an hour and a half from home. From what I was told, I knew that I would be treated well and everyone in my family would be treated well in terms of coming to games and everything like that. Not that they weren't Fort Wayne. It's just in proximity to my house. It was perfect. And then I get there and all the fun amenities and things that you get out of playing for the Walleye is just, it's so cool. And there's so many opportunities to reach out and work with the community and do different things like that. So it was a great fit and I absolutely love it. And I can't complain. It's better than any American League team I've been a part of in terms of the way you're treated and everything like that. And pretty close to, I got to go play NHL rookie tournament for Pittsburgh, and pretty close to the way you're treated there. Like if you think like Dan Watson should be an NHL coach, you got two guys that work as hard as anyone in terms of Brent Bain and Alden Hirschfeld with the way they work on video, the way they want to work with you on and off the ice. And you got a great strength and conditioning guy being Dan Jones, but then you got a literal NHL equipment manager being Dave Aleo. Dave was in the NHL for way beyond you guys were born. So, and if you think like he takes such good care of everyone in that building, all he wants to do is help people. So it's like you got guys like that. It's just it's awesome to be around.
So what led you to re-sign with Toledo? Obviously it was your first season. What made you want to come back?
Unfinished business. Like and that was kind of like the first thing that went through my head. Like we lost in game 6 of potentially the last 2 games of the year. And I think if we would have won game 4 in overtime, I think we would have won the entire series. But unfinished business, I loved where I'm at. My family loves that they can come to games every weekend, and that means the most to me out of anything.
Working for the Lions, I remember the big watch parties on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Only the finals, but the conference finals. And
Yep.
I remember it very well. There's definitely some unfinished business, not just for you guys as players, but the entire town knows it's unfinished.
Yep. So it was it's honestly a very easy decision for me. And I told Waddy as soon as we did like a exit meeting at the end of the year, you do a meeting where they tell you like what you did good, what you did bad, what they want to see differently, different things like that. And I basically said, I go, what's the first day I can sign to come back? And he's like, well, tomorrow. I go, all right, well, I guess we're re-signing tomorrow.
Do a lot of guys on the team kind of share that same feeling? Like we were right there, we can go and get it again?
I think a good amount of them do, yeah. The ones that have re-signed already, 100%.
So, we talked about the playoffs a little bit. What was it like sweeping Wheeling, especially? I know usually when they're in town, there's a lot of fights.
Mhm.
Plus, you played for Wheeling for a season.
Yep.
Is
So
that special than any other ones, or?
It was honestly special, but in my eyes, you don't really see much fighting in playoffs, because a lot of the times when it happens, there's going to be an extra penalty here, an extra penalty there, and you'd never want to hurt your team. So we knew it was going to be a hard-nosed series. We understood what we had to do. It was just a matter of executing. And yeah, they can regular season is regular season. You can find guys that fight. You can find guys that are tough and do everything like that and make that happen. And in the end, I think skill will take over. But it was one of those things where we kind of came in and I think we wanted it more. So I think that really helped. And they're coached really well with Army there, and they have a lot of good players. I don't know how many of those guys are coming back, but they had a special team in terms of how tough and how well they played together. It was just, I think down the stretch, I think we not outran them. I don't even know if it was the word is outworked, but outlasted.
So after the Wheeling sweep, you guys went out to Utah, and you guys ended up winning 4 straight after the game 1 loss and got to the finals. What was that series the Grizzlies like?
That was a little different because they're a high speed, high skill team. So it was almost you have to rein your brain back in and be like, all right, now we got to play a separate way to play against them. And it was one of those things we knew if we could get a lead and we could play our type of game where it's a little more physical than theirs and everything like that, we can wear them out and take away their opportunities. And I think we did just that. And I think that's how we ended up winning the whole series.
And after the Utah series, you guys played Florida. What kinds of things were you guys thinking heading into the Kelly Cup finals this year?
I was really hoping we get that game 1 win. I think if we did that, it would be a completely different series in total. But you have to look at it the same way. The 7-game series, you got to put trust in yourself and in your teammates and hope that things go your way. And some things didn't go our way. Some bounces didn't go our way, but but it happens, and you got to find a way to rally back. And we rallied back in that game 3, but I really think that game 4 we lost with that overtime shot far side through a screen. So obviously that's tough on Billy, but if we would have won that game, if we would have took advantage of that overtime, I think that bringing the Kelly Cup back to Toledo would have been our win 100%. But obviously, like they have one of the top. I'm going to say, because we had the other top goalie, they had one of the top 2 goalies in the East Coast League, and when he's on, he's an NHL caliber goalie. I've known that since we were 14 years old. And he kind of understands where I shoot, but like there's days where he beats me and there's days where I beat him. So it's kind of one of those things that I enjoy, that type of thing, to play against him, because we can kind of mess with each other mentally. But in the end, it was a hard fought battle, and they ended up coming out with the win. But we got unfinished business.
I got to go to the Air Force Academy this summer, and they still talk about Billy over there.
Yep.
There are
He's
guys.
a freak of nature.
Yeah. What's it like playing with him?
This is probably my best compliment to Billy I can give, other than the fact that he's a tremendous goaltender. He's the most dialed in human being, second most dialed in human being I've ever met. Dialed in to me means everything is right at all times. He is the most consistent day-to-day athlete I've ever played with. And this guy runs a mile every day. Doesn't matter if it's -30 outside, doesn't matter if it's 110 outside, he finds a way to run a mile. He was in the hospital last year. He missed a game and went down to the hospital gym and ran a mile. Like that's how Billy is. He's one of the most mentally tough, mentally dialed in people in the world. And that's why he's as good as he is. Consistency is key.
Somebody, we have to know who's number 1.
Most dialed in?
Yeah.
It's kind of up for debate. But I played with a guy by the name of Michael Mersch. You can look him up on Elite Prospects. I think he scored 20 goals in the American League last year. He was a captain of Rochester.
Okay.
He's very, very, very dialed in at all times. And then the other was a coach I played for. Now, it's hard to say because I didn't get to play for him, but his name is Mike McLaughlin. He played for Northeastern. He was a captain at Northeastern, and he was our video coach and director of player personnel while I was there. Now, even this guy, while he wasn't playing, was still doing more than team workouts, skating with the team, and doing all of his coaching on the side. And he'd get in the morning and do all of his workouts before we even got there.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's probably number 1.
So talk to us about your relationship with Dan Watson and kind of what he means to the organization.
So he's in the top tier of coaches that I've had. He's in the upper echelon of people that communicate to the absolute most elite level that I've ever played for. He understands the game, but he understands people better, if that makes sense. And that's why everybody wants to play for him, and that's why I think teams do so well playing for him. Is he's first a tremendous person, and then he's a tremendous hockey coach. He cares about you as a person and then a player. And that's why everybody wants to come here. That's why everybody wants to play for him to their best ability. And it makes a lot of sense. And all of his stuff, hockey-wise, is top-notch as well. It's just you end up with people that care about him just as much as he cares about us. And that's why we're such a good team and honestly such a family.
And then what is it like playing underneath the leadership of TJ Hensick? Like you said, he's been around for a while. He was in the NHL for a little bit.
Yep. We call him Dad. That makes sense. I call every time if he's something's going wrong, I call him old man. No, he's a tremendous mentor, and he's someone I've learned a lot from in the past year. It's honestly a special thing to get to play with him after I looked up to him for a long time. He played at the roller hockey rink my dad ran when he was little. So I've known Henny for over 15 years. I've never got to play with him. I've always idolized him, watching him play at Michigan, watching him play in Colorado, and playing the NHL all over the place. So it was very special for me to get to play with him after idolizing him and looking up to him for this long. But in terms of other guys in the team, I think everybody learned something from him, because he does things in a specific way, and he thinks the game at such a high level that if you don't kind of understand, you don't start learning to that level, you get left behind. And I feel like a lot of guys learn a lot of things by just being on the ice with him at any given time. Like, if you think about it, summertime, if you take a low end college kid and let him train with NHL guys for the whole summer, he's going to come back as a better hockey player, right? So it's the same idea with Henny. You take anybody anywhere that thinks the game at an okay level, they're going to think the game at a better level playing with Henny after they played with him for a full year. Especially, like, even if not on the same line, just on the same team, just because you get to see him in practice, you get to see how he does his things in daily life, and understand how he thinks the game. And that's how a lot of guys will end up getting better by being around him, aka dad like.
Well, 3 out of the 4 of us have also been to a Monsters game over in Cleveland. We saw that you got loaned to them for a game.
Yeah.
What was your experience like?
It was awesome. I played second line, first power play. I think I played around 16 minutes. It was honestly a lot of fun. They had a guy that couldn't play back-to-back games yet because he was injured. So they're like, you're going to come up, you're going to play, and then you can go back down right after, which I was all for, because this was still at the beginning time where my injury wasn't all that normal. So it was pretty great to go play and be able to play my game, and then come back and be right back in the groove of being with Toledo.
Nice. So what exactly was the tattoo that you just showed?
Oh, no. So I was showing you the scar.
Oh, okay.
So there's a scar there, there's a scar on the back, and there's 4 scars on top.
Oh, nice.
So I dislocated my wrist almost completely making a pass, tore 3 different ligaments, missed 20 games. Then I played probably close to 20 games with duct tape on my hand to make it stronger and stiffer.
Jeez.
So what I'm hearing is, if it weren't for that, you would have scored 40 goals this year instead of 35.
Well, I mean, I had 35 and 52 games. I had 50 and 72. So I'll take it in the end.
Right.
I would love to be able to play a full regular season, but the big man gets to decide that. I don't.
Yeah. And kind of the last hockey-based question we have is, we saw that the Craggs brothers re-signed this week.
Yep.
What is it like sharing the ice with them? Because they're both BG products as well.
Yep. So the year I left was, I believe, Lucas's first year, and he's awesome. Like, he plays the game at a high level. He's gritty. He's skilled. He can do just about everything, and I think that he'll do extremely well for our team. And then Sam got to see what our team was like at the end of the season, getting to come play with us and everything like that. And he did really well for his first few games of pro and everything like that. So I think they'll both be big additions, and it'll be even more fun that they get to play together. Then you get one brother mentoring the other. It usually ends up in a fist fight or two, but we'll see what happens.
You'll get your chance to play referee then.
Nope, I'm standing back. I'm watching.
Yeah, weddings are the only thing he wants to officiate, not fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ref for too long. I don't want to go back to doing anything like that.
I get that.
Yeah. I ref soccer currently, and I understand when people don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I feel like there should be there's the rink. There should be a special part of the rink that if a parent wants to fight, you should be able to go fight the parent. I just think people have too much of an opinion in youth sports. Just let the kid play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Preach.
We ran into that stuff when it's like U8 soccer, where it's like barely even mattering at this point in time. And you got parents yelling at you, and you're like, well, it was a foul. And you're like, well, shut up.
Let your kid go enjoy the sport that they love. Yeah. Don't put yourself in between that.
Yeah, correct.
My dad never said a word during a game, never complained to a coach, never complained to a ref. He sat in the corner in the far end away from everybody and watched the game. And if I had a bad game, it'd be a long car ride.
Yeah.
But if not, I understood that he knew the game so well that it's more of a learning thing than anything.
Yeah.
Luckily, Mom saved me on some of those trips.
Yeah. I think pretty much all of us can relate to
We've
that.
all experienced the tough love at some point in
Yep.
time.
The tough car ride.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Especially when the game's like 2 hours away and then you
Yep.
have to go back. Yep.
Does it even work when your dad's the coach? Like,
Well, it's all right. I played a bad game once. I had to run around the parking lot for 2 hours after the game.
we I don't think any of us
I was
have
saying,
been
never got that far.
I had the game-winning goal against, I think it was the Toronto Marlies, and came out and he goes, "You think you had a good game?" I go, "Well, I had the game-winning goal." He goes, "You played like crap. Get running."
Well, I guess there's a reason why you're a professional athlete and we're talking to you.
Yeah, I can thank him for that. I'm very glad that I can tell him absolutely not anymore.
So, like you said, it's not really the off season for you, but like kind of what are your plans until you guys have to report again?
Just skate and train. There's not much else that really goes on in my life. I enjoy golf. I probably play 2 or 3 times a week. That's kind of that's like my getaway. It's my happy place. If anybody needs me and they can't find me, I guarantee you'll find me on a golf course. That or at hanging out with one of my best friends is my tattoo artist. So Tattoos by Loaf. If you guys ever want to look him up, he's one of the best, and he's a better person, and he's a hockey player. So I'll be hanging out with him if things don't go wrong. If it's the perfect storm, him and I are golfing together while hanging out.
There you go.
I saw a 2-minute interview with Cole Frazier, and he seemed like he really was into the golf scene. Have you ever played with him or any of the other guys on the team?
I played with a lot of the guys on the team. I'm not going to comment about the first part. The Easter Bunny drops eggs. Cole Frazier drops golf balls. So that's what I'll leave.
Oh, so are you the best player on the team then?
No. By far, no. I'd say the best player on the team is John Albert. I think that if he took a full season and just practiced golf, I think he could play on the tour.
Wow.
Like regularly shoots like low 70s, high 60s. Yeah, John's special. And then Conlon Keenan, I think after hockey, if he doesn't go and think he wants to be a police officer afterwards, but I think that he could probably go and caddy on the tour. He's very good. Mitchell Hurd's very good. Blake Hillman, I think if he decided that he didn't want to play hockey anymore, he could probably go and take a year and find a way on the tour and be a golfer. He's that good.
That's crazy. So does that mess with your swing at all? Like going between hockey and golf?
Nope, not even a little bit.
Fair enough.
I took a ton of golf lessons growing up because my dad liked to golf and he wanted to bring me with him. So obviously he doesn't want to wait for me to hit the ball 18 times before I get to the green. So he put me in golf lessons and I took to it and I absolutely loved it. So it was one of those things where by the time I got to high school, I kind of decided where I understood that I wanted to play hockey and I couldn't focus on both as much as I wanted to. But you guys have watched. I can shoot the puck pretty hard. I can hit the ball farther. That's my thing. So
yeah,
that makes it more fun for me.
For sure. Yeah, for us we've recently just picked up golf. I think we've gone probably grand total maybe like 13 times recently.
Yep.
But we have our good days and we have our bad days still.
I will honestly say your best thing you can do is go take just one golf lesson, just one. That way you understand if basic fundamentals, yeah, cool. But I think if you could take those fundamentals and apply them to yourself and your own type of swing, I think it helps big time.
Okay. Yeah.
I could use it.
After yesterday, we discovered I
Man.
definitely need lessons. So
We're so bipolar, it's not even funny.
We
that's
also played
all
a
right.
great par 3, so that doesn't help us at all.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. It's learning, and the more you play, the more you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Golfing can be the most rewarding, most frustrating game in the world,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
and probably the most mentally tough. But what can you do? It's somehow you'll always end up birdieing 18, so you come back and play the next day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what my dad always says. Is it only takes one shot, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well,
Yep.
I'll see you next weekend."
Yeah. I just like kicking. I like kicking the crap out of my friends around here, so it makes it tidbit more fun for me. It's always fun when I get to golf with Spies because he's really good. So Tyler Spezia, but he's extremely good. I love playing with him. But then there's like my high school buddies around here. We all play like a men's league hockey league together, and that's fun. But we all golf on Mondays or Tuesdays, and one's okay, and then the others are not very good.
It's about the company.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
The same kids I've hung out with for 10, 12 years. It makes more sense just to go hang out and do what we like.
do you have a favorite course in the Toledo area?
In the Toledo area,
Yeah, in the Toledo area.
so I really like I love Stone Ridge.
In BG.
Yeah, Stone Ridge is probably my favorite.
Nice.
It's difficult, it's windy. It's a good time. We were supposed to play Inverness at the end of the year and we couldn't stick around. I really want to play that course.
Everness. Remind me again where that's at. I've heard of that one.
That's in Toledo. That's where they played the women's Ryder Cup last year.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
I have a buddy who's an intern for the LPGA, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Tell him to get you on the course.
I don't know if he has quite that much pull yet, but I'll see what I can do.
I don't know if we want to be on
Yeah, we might be there for like an actual full day.
That might be an 8-hour round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes 9 strokes each at the green, but get there eventually.
All that matters.
Right. So, do you have a favorite NHL team?
Detroit.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it'll never be Detroit.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
Brett Hull.
Okay.
I was hoping you guys would be old enough to know who that is.
Yeah, of course.
He'll know.
So Brett Hull he's my favorite hockey player. He's who I modeled my game towards. We have the same initials. We shoot the same way. I don't quite use the same stick as him. I did growing up, but I based everything I did off of Brett Hull.
That's cool.
What about like other professional sports? Is there anything that you watch religiously, like NFL, NBA, or even just college football or anything like that?
Honestly, I watch a lot of golf. That's usually what I do. When hockey's on in season, I could have 4 games on at the same time. Sort of paying attention to all of them, sort of not. That's just I'd rather be watching something like that. The past couple of years I've gotten more into football. It really depends on the day. College I liked football because we got to go to the games, but now it's a little different. But now it's like we have so many guys that want to do fantasy football and everything every year that I don't mind going to the local Hooters and watching football for the whole day. So you won't hear me complain.
Yeah, there you go.
It's for the wings, though, right?
Exactly.
That's actually what we're doing after this. We're having.
We're having one of
Let's say nice. John, that's John Albert. That's John Albert's office on Sundays.
But we're having our fantasy football draft we have one more guy who couldn't be here today. He's at work, but the 5 of us have our own league, and then we have a league with some of our high school buddies. So
God. What does the other guy do for work?
he is a camp counselor at the local Y.
Oh, I feel bad. He missed the fun interview.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
He would much rather be here.
Yeah.
You guys gotta rub it in.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, we do
Well-
that normally.
We always do that. So.
Okay, good.
It's dinner though, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He's buying dinner.
Well, I guess that makes up for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But and our last question for you is:
Mm.
we are Hot Take Sports.
Mm.
So, do you have a hot take for us?
And
Ooh, roller hockey belongs in the Olympics.
Oh, there we go.
That's like
Roller
good.
hockey definitely belongs in the Summer Olympics. So this past summer, I played in what is called the World Games. If you guys look it up, it's put on by the Olympic Committee. It's basically what it should be called. Instead of the World Games, it should be called the Olympic Trial Games, because these are all trial sports that are trying to get into the Olympics. Now, roller hockey in itself is 4-on-4. The rink's a little bit smaller. The nets are smaller. They're 3x5 instead of 4x6. And it is full ice, no icing, no offsides, everything you can think of. High speed, high paced. But I feel as if in the Summer Olympics, people would actually jump on board with roller hockey. They used to do it as a double IHF sport, but it would be fun for it to come back. It hasn't been an Olympic sport since 1992. And I feel like roller hockey went away in the middle of that, and now it's like back to full effect again. But we won the World Games. Actually, hold on. I have my medal right here.
That's not hard.
The true gold medal.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
That's, and then there's the front, the World Games logo.
that's cool. That's amazing.
So that was honestly a really fun experience. But I would love if they were to bring roller hockey to the Olympics.
Sweet.
That is
And I say that because I feel as if I'm better at roller hockey than I am at ice hockey.
So you're trying to get on the team?
I mean, we would see what would happen, but there's a possibility. Now, if I had an ice, I'll give you an ice hockey hot take too, because I can't just make it about roller hockey. The people who think fighting deserves to be out of the game are nuts.
Fully agree.
Oh,
100%.
absolutely.
Fighting belongs in hockey. I don't. I understand what people say about the issues and stuff like that and everything that come with it, but if you don't have fighting, I think that the repercussions will be worse than the fights that happen.
Yeah.
Guys would get hurt with stick penalties and boardings and elbows and everything you can think of 10 times more now than you would with the fighting being in the game.
Yeah.
Think if something goes wrong and I hit a guy from behind and you're not allowed to fight that guy for burying your buddy from behind with no remorse, then guess what? He's going to do it again. Or somebody comes across the middle and somebody gets speared in the teeth because they thought they did something cheap before. You can't fight that guy. So he's going to do it again. No matter what, I think fighting will always belong in the sport. Just depends on, I think that they should take the rule out where you can only have a certain amount of them. Like, I get you want to deter the fighting, but I don't think that rule belongs in sports to limit the amount of times you fight, because I believe it's an organic situation. It doesn't need to happen off of a face-off, but if there's a questionable hit or something dirty that happens on the ice, I believe an organic fight is quite possibly one of the best things in sports.
I can name on two hands the amount of times I watched Cole Frazier just absolutely smack somebody for doing something to one of your teammates.
So I got to play that one game with a player by the last name Gallant in Cleveland. Okay. He is pound for pound one of the toughest people I've ever met. And that guy lives to punch people's faces in. But off the ice, you never know. Because he's the nicest guy in the world.
Really?
It's one of those things where it's like, I feel like you can't take those guys' jobs away.
Right.
They're too valuable.
Mm.
Do you have any good stories of any fights you've gotten in?
My first year pro, I got a 4-game suspension because kid came up the wall. I whacked him on the hands. He turned and snapped his stick over me. And as he turned to throw his hands up, I cross-checked him in the face. I cut his face open that much from there to there, and then I proceeded to fight him afterwards. I won the fight. I got a 4-game suspension for the cross check. He got a 4-game suspension for taking the blood off his face and flicking it at the referee.
Oh,
Yep. So that was a wild thing to happen in a game. Last year when I played in the American League, I had my first game, I had a goal and assist. The second game, I had 20 penalty minutes. The first thing, I basically hit a guy kind of into the bench and he kicked me. Like square in the chest. Like as his body was in the bench, he like kicked me, like donkey kicked me. So by the time he turned around, I already dropped my gloves. I don't know if I won that one, but I still fought him. It's not my job to fight. It's my job to score.
right.
And I'll pride myself on always being the person that if I'm challenged, I don't mind doing it. Like I idolize Brendan Shanahan and Jerome McGinley, and those are 2 guys that can both fight and score. And if you can't do both, I feel like you're not going to get as much respect as somebody that just does the one. But I turned and fought him, and then came back in the second period, made a move, took a shot, and I was shoulder to shoulder with the D. Their D went to hit me, and I hit him and basically picked him up off of his feet, and he landed in the boards. You ever remember like the old cartoon characters where you hit a wall and you're 3 feet off the ground, but you're like your arms and legs are spread out like in an X?
Yeah.
So that's what he looked like. Yeah, and I got a 5 and a 10 for that. So I got a 20-minute penalty game, and that was probably my claim to fame. Is for 2 games in the American League, I had a point per game and 10 penalty minutes per game.
That's a tough record to beat.
It was neat, that's for sure. I think that the coaches liked it because they're like, all right, this kid's got balls.
What would you say like the most physical team in the ECHL would be? Like if you could do a top 3
Against Toledo,
against Toledo, and then
Fort
like
Wayne.
guys against them.
Fort Wayne, Wheeling. Fort Wayne, obviously, you understand it. It's probably the best, if not the toughest rivalry in the East Coast League. Wheeling's always been tough to play against because they play a gritty style, and they're a tougher team always. I don't know who else I like. It's always fun to play Cincy, but I feel like that's more of a skilled hockey game. Painter does a pretty good job in recruiting skilled players, as did Matty Thomas before him, the 2 coaches there. Yeah, I would probably put those 2. You kind of see some stuff stir up when we play like Kalamazoo and stuff like that, but really it's Fort Wayne and Toledo are the 2 most physical teams to play against.
Shoot, I got something in mind to follow that up with. Oh, do you remember Cody Soul?
Yep.
One of the craziest Walleye games I ever went to was when he ended up in Cincinnati, and he's on the ice for the first time, and the entire arena started chanting, "Soul, you suck! Soul, you suck!"
Oh, that's funny. It wasn't the AJ Jenks Emerson Clark fight.
I don't know if I was there for that.
When AJ Jenks took 18 cross checks in the back before a full line roll.
Actually, I was there the day after that. Now that you mentioned that, because that was when the goalies fought, right?
Yep.
Was that night?
There was almost a fight, goalie fight in the Florida series.
Can you walk us through that?
Huh?
Can you walk us through that?
Well, Billy. So it was basically a what's it called? Timeout happened, a TV timeout. And Billy came to our bench where he's allowed to cross the red line, and Cam Johnson was kind of like he was balancing on the line of being Cam, as I'd like to say, but being dumb and like being like a little too much. But what nobody understands is Billy was in the Air Force. Billy had to go through combat proficiency. If you grab Billy's hand-to-hand is going to be better than your hand-to-hand. And I can promise you that. It's not going to go well. And I love Cam. And I told him, after the series was over, we talked and we went golfing. I'm like, Cam, that was a dumb idea to try to fight Billy, because I think he would have fed you his lunch. But you never know what happens. Billy, I feel like Billy's too nice. If you get Billy fired up, I feel like he could snap and beat somebody up pretty good just based off of his background.
And for all of our listeners out there, give Toledo Walleye versus Kansas City Monarchs fight a YouTube. It's like a 3-minute highlight video, and it is one of the craziest fights I've ever seen in hockey, period.
I'll have to look that.
The same game as AJ got checked into the boards, and then they were hitting him while he was down.
Yep. That was the Emerson Clark fight.
All right. Well, that's pretty much everything that we had for you. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out or anything you'd like to say to Walleye Nation for the upcoming season?
All right, I'll give you 4. All right. I'm sponsored by Drive Force Golf. It's a supplement company. If you guys reach out to them, they're pretty great. They make a supplement that basically keeps you dialed in for a full round of golf in terms of hydration, energy, and like a dialed in effect. It's almost, I I always joke with them that it's like a liquid Adderall, but it's all natural. So it's honestly, it's great. And their peach mango flavor is phenomenal. The second would be Mars Blade. They've taken good care of me over the past couple of years in terms of roller hockey, ice hockey. I wear all their stuff in ice. I wear all their stuff in roller hockey. And then the last is at Tattoos by Loaf on Instagram. He's the man. He's my best friend. And probably he's got to be the best tattoo artist on the East Coast. I'll give him the full East Coast.
Where's he based
of? He's based out of Utica, Michigan.
Okay.
So where I grew up in Macomb, he's 7 minutes away. Yeah. And he owns a shop. It's called Hand and Heart Tattoo. And they're basically just a big shop of some great human beings and better artists. And if you're ever bored and you want to check them out, it'd be wonderful, and I'd greatly appreciate you guys.
Yeah, of course. But
perfect.
Yeah, I think this concludes. I had it wrong earlier. This is episode 54 of the Hot Take podcast. But Brandon, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate having you.
No problem at all, guys. It'd be fun to do an in-person one during the year.
Hey, we'd be down for that.
Yeah. So I might be able to get that set up. We'll have to talk to Melzak about it.
I'll set it up and we'll do it in the rink.
Even better.
Yeah,
maybe I'll tell Maddie we're commandeering his desk. I think we can make it work.
That's great.
Well, he's going to listen to this, so he'll probably have a little bit of an advanced knowledge.
I think it'd be cool. We'll do a podcast and then we'll do like a Q&A on Instagram Live. That way we can get you guys a shout out with the Walleye, and we can do something from just the standpoint of the podcast.
That'd be great. Sounds awesome.
I like where your brain's going here.
Remember, this was my major. I understand this stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. So that'd be a blast. I'll you guys say something, Maddie, and then I'll talk to him too, and we'll get it worked out.
All right. Sounds great.
Cool if we could set up a table or something, either right at the Zamboni entrance or up in Mel's office up top.
That'd be awesome.
So,
and hopefully we can have all the list this time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's used to me invading his personal space, so we'll make it work.
We'll do that all by lunch. You got a deal?
Sounds good. We'll be there.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect. All right, boys. It's nice to meet you.
All right, thanks for coming on, Brandon.
Yep, no problem. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Once again, Brandon, thank you for coming on the show. That was so much
amazing.
fun. Your hot takes were awesome, by the way.
Oh,
I don't think that
they
we covered
definitely were.
Brian was a heck of a guy, but those hot takes were good.
Those hot takes were up there.
But this concludes episode 54 of the Hot Take Sports Podcast. Make sure that you follow us on all social medias at Hot Take Sports 16. Make sure you go follow Brandon Hawkins on Instagram at bhawkins10. And follow the Toledo Walleye at Toledo Walleye.
And use our SeatGeek code.
SeatGeek code HTS for $20 off of your first order. Tickets to concerts, sporting events, anything that you have to buy tickets for, SeatGeek has tickets.
Pass through Walleye games. There you go.
Walleye games. They're coming up.
Go watch Brandon live and in person.
Yes.
And maybe he'll score and beat somebody up in the press.
Hey man, Gordie Howe hat tricks are what we live for. For those of you who don't know, that's a goal, fight, and assist in the same game. He shouted out Brendan Shanahan, and I believe Brendan Shanahan played for the Red Wings and the Blues, and I'm pretty sure that he has the most Gordie Howe hat tricks in the NHL history. So, yeah, this concludes episode 54. Thank you guys for listening or watching if you're on YouTube, and we'll see you guys next time.